Hello, welcome to Kenty Prime Time. Paul Kent here once again. Johnny Elias is with me today. And today, Johnny, we've got a good mate of yours, the one and only Paul Sironen. Hey, look at you.
Pioneers.
Thanks for coming, mate.
My pleasure, boys. Anything for you, Kaboobie.
Thank you.
No problems.
So, mate, you've come down this week. There's a bit on this week. You've come down. The Blues have had their Brad Fittler medal, but you've also come down for personal reasons too.
Yeah, Kenny. A team out of ours, Johnny and myself. Michael Neil's not very well, mate.
Yeah.
So he's over at RPA. So a group of us are going in to see the little fella and try and cheer him up a little bit, mate, and just make sure he's been looked after.
Yeah, it's
very sad.
It's going to surprise many people because he's a much loved figure, isn't he, Mick Neil? Because he was one of those guys that he played about 60 kilos,
Wringing wet,
but just obviously played well above his weight, and he almost became a bit of a cult figure, didn't he?
Oh well, look, I guess the Balmain side of the '80s was you probably spoke about the forwards a little bit, mate, But in Wes Freeman and his little offside of Mickey Neil, mate, we had a great pair of halves too. But Megs was that fit, mate. He'd do that much on the field, and he'd still be jogging at half time, mate. So he was just a super competitor, and mate, we all loved him.
Yeah,
and still do love him.
Sad news actually. Because Johnny came and had coffee with us
a few times,
and
it was just the way he was shuffling. Paul, you can identify there was something wrong.
Yeah, poor bugger. But anyway, so look, we obviously hope things turn around and he comes out of hospital very soon and things pick up for the poor bugger.
Yeah.
But mate, you've moved to Lennox Head, is that right?
I have, mate. Yeah, the Northern Rivers.
How do you find it up there? Like you're a Balmain boy.
Yeah. Look, Balmain Junior, but decided a couple of years ago, mate. I sort of went through with both my boys being overseas in the Super League. There wasn't a great deal we've still got family in Sydney, but there wasn't a great deal sort of tying us down. So wife and I decided on a bit of a sea change. So we said, let's head up north. And I've got a bit of history up there. My brother's been up there for 35 years around Ballina, Lennox, that Northern Rivers. And I've been a regular visitor over that time. So, it was probably not if we'd moved up there, it was more when. So, but the timing was good, mate. We sold the house in Sydney we had for a long time and rented for a while just to make sure we'd made the right choice. And we've been up there for it's closing in on 2 years, but it's been bloody wet. Let me tell you, we've had rain. Not much rain the last couple of years, but mate, when the weather's good, it's a cracking spot, and it's laid back lifestyle in Lennox, mate. Little seaside village, famous for its right hand break, the surf, one of the best surf spots on the east coast. And if you live in Lennox, you're pretty chilled, and if you don't live there, you're there on holiday, so you're having a good time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Mate, you've come into the I'd say the right time of the year. The Raiders have won the minor premiership and are sort of setting up one of those sort of fairy tale seasons at the moment. And
don't remind Paul about the Raiders.
No, I don't want to get onto the Raiders. I'm talking more about the fairy tale aspect of it. Yeah. I suppose the way the game has come along with these guys, you guys kind of got there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep... I know where we're going here. And I don't really want to go straight there and hit you with it. But even though you didn't win that comp, you still were a little bit of a fairy tale team, that Balmain side, I thought. Like the way I suppose you're spotting history at the moment.
Yeah, Kenny. Look, it's a fair few years ago now, mate, but 88 sort of we built. There's always a nucleus of a really good side there, and Frank Stanton had sort of assembled. We had a good crop of local juniors in Wayne Pearce and Benny Elias, and they got Jimmy Jack over from West via Wollongong where Block's from, and so they had the nucleus of a pretty good side, and it built from probably the early 80s through to 88 was we had a playoff. We had a playoff for fifth to make the finals. It was top five in those days, and we every game was sudden death, and on the back of a handy acquisition in a guy called Ellery Hanley, he single-handedly sort of propelled us to the grand final, and as we know, those people old enough listening will remember what he did, and he was unbelievable. That 10-week period he was there and got through to grand final. And I think the people in and around, and I still remember vividly going back to the club after we beat Cronulla in the final to get to the grand final, and it was the first grand final since '69, and just mate, the reception we got, it was just Balmain was going crazy just because we'd made the grand final, and we were pretty busted by the time we got there. Our block had been suspended, and Barnesy sent him off to England to try and get him to qualify. So he. Unfortunately, Bullfrog didn't allow that, Bullfrog and Arco. But, so we just to make the grand final, we kind of limped in there. And I again, remember my second-row partner, Dave Brooks, was on a drip in the hospital during the week. And, mate, I had a bit of a dodgy calf and, just a little niggles and aches and pains at that time of the year when you're playing every week. And as I said, to make the finals, we had a playoff for fifth, and I think we had 3 games in 6 days just to make it, So, but that was Warren. Warren came over. It was his first year, Warren Ryan. So it was probably just as I said, we had the nucleus there. We just needed someone to unlock that talent and get us in the right direction. And the WOC did that. And
Paul, before you go to the big one, 89, but there was a possibility you weren't even going to play for Balmain. You had a scholarship Hawaii gridiron, correct?
Correct, John.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you got to Balmain in 86.
80. Well, mate, I signed as a junior, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I read somewhere, Paul, that you said the reason why you left Hawaii, the gridiron, you just weren't seeing enough of the ball. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the position I played, Johnny, defensive tackle. So basically, you're a lineman. You're up, the offensive line guarding the quarterback, and defensive tackle where I played. So you're either trying to get in and shut down, sack the quarterback, or if the running backs are coming through, you're trying to stop their advancement, mate. But so you don't really, where I played, mate, you didn't touch the ball at all. It'd be very rare if someone fumbled it, maybe you could dive on it, but that'd be about it. So
their loss was Balmain's game.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, I'm not sure about that, but mate, it's probably a friend of the show, Colin Scott, because Colin was over there. He was over there 12 months before me. And,
so he was too.
Big Colin, yeah. So he'd made a really good fist of it, and he had a really good college career. Then went out, got drafted to the NFL. But look, it was great for me because I went over there. I trained. I put on some size and strength, and it probably helped me to grow up a little bit too, mate. Being an 18-year-old living on your own in a
You're in Hawaii,
in a dorm, in Hawaii. Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, mate, how good was it?
Because you had to go to college.
You had to go to school.
What were you studying at college?
Well, that's. I mean, your first year, you can just sort of do. You don't really specialise in a particular topic in your first year. So I was just doing sort of basic, maths and history and bits and pieces, mate. Classes, a minimum
enough to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
Well, enough to qualify for that, mate.
Play,
yeah. So that was. It was again. It was different, but I enjoyed it. Met a lot of good people outside of the football program.
How'd you end up there though? Like what took a kid growing up as a Balmain junior rugby league player to suddenly say I'm going to go and play NFL at Hawaii?
Yeah.
Like how did? Because I've known about playing there, but I never know how you actually ended up there.
So. Man, as I said, Colin Scott's had gone over there, I think it was 18 months beforehand, and he'd made a really good fist of it. So they one of the coaches, one of the assistant coaches, had come down to Australia and had a couple of contacts. So he contacted Bobby Lloyd, who he's got an association with the Star of the Sea up there at Terrigal. Bobby was a Australian schoolboys convener, and I think the coach. Was it Larry McDuff was his name? Coach McDuff, McDuff Beer. Anyway, he came down, and my name was sort of he asked for a bigger kids with potential to put in some size. So my name got tossed up, and there's a couple of phone calls, and then there was a meeting. Coach Larry come around at my place and introduced himself, and we had a talk, and it was just mate, it happened like that. I mean. Within sort of 3 or 4 weeks, I was flying over, and I went straight off the plane to the Pro Bowl. So they have the best players, and they used to play in Hawaii. Yeah. So it was an eye opener. Straight to the Aloha Stadium, and I thought, wow, this is just
18-year-old kid.
Yeah, what an eye opener it was. But it was a great opportunity, but I probably jumped at the thought, the romance and all that sort of stuff, straight away. But after giving me a little bit of thought, but it probably did help me with my league career, just because it put on some size and strength, and I've no doubt it helped me. So.
Did Keith bring you back, Keith Barnes?
Keith Giddos was in charge in those days. Yeah, Keithy Giddos. But no, not really, mate. No, it was more of a case of I thought, look, I'm going to come home. So I came home at the end of '84, and mate, I was, less than 2 years later, I was on a Kangaroo tour. So it probably wasn't a bad decision. But I got home and played most of the year '85 in reserve grade. Peter Duffy was a coach. Johnny, good man, old Duff,
champion.
Peter Duffy, the Tiger Tuffy, as Laurie Nichols used to call him. So we, so mate, again, really good grounding there. Yeah. Had a couple of run-on games in first grade, right. And then start of '86, I think round 2 or 3, my great mate Block got suspended. And, wow, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Yeah, so
you got rookie of the year, didn't you? '86.
Big Block, so '86, mate. Yeah, I debuted round 3, run on debut, mate. And and had a pretty good season. So
and on the Kangaroo tour.
On the Kangaroo tour, yeah. So
that's a big go, isn't it?
Yeah,
look,
there's
rookie of the year.
There's been a couple
tour.
of blokes. It was just one of those things that happened, mate. So I guess I had a bit of size and whatnot, and it wasn't. The game's full of big blokes now. But, in those days they were few and far between, really. So
well, there's no one your size really around then, was there? There was a couple of crushers, probably
not with his speed and strength. Yeah,
a couple of bigger blokes, mate. Like guys 6'3", 6'4", and probably 100 odd kilos. But there was, but there weren't too many, as I said, mate.
That's why Bozo fell in love with you.
Well, I think
he loved big blokes, Bozo.
He did.
Didn't he love big blokes?
Yeah. Because he gave me a rap. But the year before, '85, I played in reserve grade, and mate, I ragdolled a couple of the Manly forwards. So he even gave me a little rap in the big league, and it was a bit of an unknown. There was a little, one of the little snippets in the big league was,
little paragraph.
Bob Fulton's got a little. There's a bloke playing reserve grade, keep an eye on him. So, but Bose was terrific for me, mate. So.
Yeah. Did you ever try and get you to Manly?
Oh yeah, yes. just a couple of times.
A couple of times.
He did.
I wanted Paul, because you've always said that Warren Ryan was the best coach you've had. But tell me the crossover when you've come from Union, and it's very highly technical, of course. But when you come NFL, sorry, apologise. Highly technical. Yeah. But coming over and being coached by Warren Ryan, that crossover would have been pretty easy. You can understand it pretty easily,
Johnny. Yeah, so I had Frank Stanton was my first. I had Peter Duffy, then Frank Stanton. Frank finished in '86. Billy Anderson came. And Billy Anderson was a good coach too. He was a great. He was an analyst on the Channel 10 and the rights. So Billy was quite smart, but probably wasn't as ruthless as as the Wok. Yeah. Warren had sort of tell you how it was. So as we all knew. So, but so Billy was pretty smart. But then when Warren arrived, I think, and I've said it somewhere, and a couple of blokes have. I think I learnt more in 6 weeks in pre-season training than I had in the last 10 years, mate. Wow. So just why we do things, running lines and running holes, and and
when we do it,
it's and it's funny because when he first arrived, Warren, I think it was his first or second session. He pulled me aside. He just said, "Oh, mate, how you going?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, good." And he said, "There's," he said, "because you're a big bloke, there's always an expectation because you're a big bloke, you're good," And I sort of went, you know what? Everyone thinks that. Yeah, that's right. But he said, I'm going to help you make good. Help you become good, really, good. Yeah. So that always stuck with me too. And he was good in that sense.
So you talk about technical. Like, can you break us down, like, the things that he taught, like that team, and like you specifically, obviously, but also the team, like, because we see the game now, and the modern blueprint is the Warren Ryan blueprint. The game basically has come from
100%
the game he put in place. Now, it wasn't. I've spoken to him about this a couple months ago, and he doesn't take credit for running unders and things like that. He said that was around, like he'd seen that, but he put the
mathematics and science.
Yeah, he put the understanding behind it. Guys were sort of kind of doing it because instinctively that's what they did. He put the science behind it, the understanding. This is why we do it. This is you do this. Everything in rugby league is cause and effect. We do this, which makes the defence do that, which then creates a hole for us here. Like that was and in the 80s, there was the two schools. There was the Warren Ryan, Jack Gibson school, and the teams that started to go down the Warren Ryan, the Canterbury's, and then you guys, the Tigers. You guys sort of emerged, I would say, at the top, as opposed to the Jack Gibson style started to fade away a little bit. Yeah, to be fair, is that right?
What Warren gave us, Kenny, was structure. Yeah. So if we needed to, if we sort of if we fell out of the structure, we could call sets, and we knew everyone had a role. So I know I played 2. I'm running this hole for this line. We're trying to do this for this. Yeah. But of tap sets, like we'd call it. I don't even remember Johnny travel set. Travel set, and like we knew, and like Warren had he probably had several sets that he took from Canterbury and just sort of tweaked them to probably to suit some of the players we had.
Players, exactly.
And Benny was the unknown factor because he could play that. He was that good at a dummy half too, and he would sometimes, if he saw something, he'd go and. And probably gave Warren the shit sometimes.
I was going to say, here's a delight and a frustration for Warren, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Watt would always say, Benny, get rid of the Pusta Malacca, whatever, Remember, he'd say that to him. And,
that's right.
But, he was, but Benny was that good, mate. He was, he changed how the hooker style of football was played. But look, and there was times where, I'd run plenty of decoys, and you just do that because that was your role. You'd do that for bloke and run lines here and holes here. So it held true for a couple of years. Yeah, it really did, mate. So and like you knew, he had a couple of plays for me that if we ran this and then something, if you could get me 1-on-1 with with a smaller bloke, well then there's opportunity. Yeah, that's right. So he was. Yeah, but Warren, because his background being a school teacher, he explained everything so well too. Like he communicated. He'd say, "Well, mate, we're doing this for this reason," and as you say, cause and effect, and we'd advance, and particularly in defence too. There was the up and in defence or up and slide. So Warren was big on the up and in sort of shutting them down. So there was. But I think Warren would tailor his game plan for the plays he had. He was that smart, rather than just like play a forward style play if you've got a small mobile pack of forwards. But we had a big strong set of forwards, and we had some guys handy on their Johnny, for example, handy on their feet too, mate. They could step, and so we had a little bit of depth there as well. So that was that's served its purpose where we play that the was a ball style of footy.
Yeah. And the thing about it too is a lot of coaches these days, they get in, they get appointed, and they say, it's going to take me 3 years to get the roster right. I hate that. You know what I mean?
Trying to say
it's a cop out.
Whereas, to your point, what you just said, Warren came in, looked at the squad he had, their individual talents, worked out what works best for that, and he coached the game around his own principles, but also coached the game according to what he had, whether it's, for example, the size of the pack. He had a big pack with you guys, which you don't see that much these days. Like it amazes me how clubs will wear coaches coming in saying, "Oh, mate, it's going to take me 3 years to turn this around."
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, well, you know what, mate, show yourself the door, because that's not what you're here for. You're actually here to start and try and get results next season.
Yeah.
Phil Gill likes to have 9-year plans, Paul.
Without getting into it, there are a few teams that like to get 3 years into a 5-year plan and start again.
But you're right. You're right, Kenny. But you look at like I guess a bloke like Craig Bellamy. And I think at the time we're talking about this, I think like you got a bloke like Xavier Coates. So I mean, mate, I think Melbourne scored more tries from kicks than anyone, and probably the Roosters are up there because you've got 6'4" wingers.
Thank you.
I mean, you cross kick, and Xavier Coates is that good in the air. He's absolutely brilliant. Then
you should utilise it, shouldn't you?
Yeah,
of course you should. That's
exactly right.
That's how you play. Like if you get down in a good ball area, then you cross kick for your big wingers, or if you've got
1-on-1
big back rowers too. Like Melbourne do it well. They've got Eli Katoa's playing out of his skin. He was rocks and diamonds. Oh mate, he was. My young bloke Bailey played with him at the Warriors, and you could see he was really, really good some days, and just bloody terrible. And
Yeah.
other days, like Rocks and Diamonds, and you go to Melbourne, and he just, instead of being an 8.5, 9 1 week and a 5 the next, he's always a 8
You're
or
talking
a 9.
about Melbourne, Paul.
Yeah.
Are they your team to win the comp?
They are, Johnny. I think, given the
why?
bad loss they had the other week against the
Paul was saying that,
against the Roosters, but that's probably just a one-off. They had a few blokes out, but but I think. Yeah, I still think Melbourne, if Jerome Hughes comes back and they stay healthy, they're probably the team to beat. Them and the Raiders, mate, it'll be interesting.
Be a good game.
The Raiders are a fascination, aren't they?
Like fascination.
A amount of people have tipped them for run last. Very few had them outside the bottom 4, above anywhere. But kind of to my point about before with you guys, without sort of getting sidetracked with the 89. 88, you were the fairytale team. Okay, it had been the 80s had been they'd been a club competition. The 80s were dominated by Parramatta and Canterbury.
That's right.
And they'd at that point by 88 they'd won 4 to the Eels, I think 3 to Canterbury at the time.
Yep.
Well,
you're right.
We're right.
Yeah. I'm good at mathematics.
Look, you're always very handy counting, Johnny.
1980, 84 and 85 if you're looking. But you're, without getting sort of too much into that, you guys were the lesson that just because you're the fairy tale doesn't mean it comes true either.
No.
Okay? Because you had this side that had come from 5th spot. By then you were sort of evolving from young kids into sort of, I wouldn't say veteran status just yet, but you're all established yourself, and there was a sentiment there from a lot of people that wanted to see you and Blocker and Junior and I don't know about Benny. Benny's not so much the fan favourite.
No, he's not at the moment. Gary Jack.
But there was a strong sentiment that given what you guys had done for the game and provided the game and done in the game, that that premiership was well deserved and should have been, if things were fair, you would have got it.
Oh, well, look, unfortunately, as you said, mate, there's no room for sentiment and in rugby league a lot of the time too. You do see the fairy tale stuff from time to time, but no, look, just it's all about, I guess for us, coming through, beating South in '89, who were the dominant side all year. South are minor premiers. We knocked them over in the major semi, and then bang, they went out in straight sets to Canberra. But you look back now, and it's fine in hindsight. But you look at the Canberra side, who they had, and just some of the greatest players. The 4 or 5 Hall of Famers. Meninga, Lazarus, Daly, Stewart. Clyde, some of the best players the game's seen. They were all young blokes, and they were going to be great players, and we just
we weren't to know them, but
we weren't, but I mean, the game was full of moments, and that's why it was such a good game.
Yeah, the '89 grand final, Paul. The majority of that game, I'm sure you were thinking, "I'm going to win this game." When was that momentum shift, in your opinion?
Johnny, it's funny, mate, because I watched the game in its entirety during COVID.
Okay.
And I did so with Block and Benny. We did a little thing with Fox, and I hadn't really sitting there watching the game.
Yeah.
Ricky Stewart just kicked the crap out of us. His kicking game was unbelievable. I'm sure Shoonsy came out with that. Just turned us around. It was a warm day. Turned us around, and. But we led 12-2 at half time from an intercept try, Jimmy Grant, and then I jagged one before half time, which was
beauty.
Bit of a, well, I wouldn't say
fluke,
but wasn't renowned for backing up, Johnny. But to answer your question, 12-2 at half time, and I thought, mate, we haven't played that good, and we were up 12-2, and there's a period there in the second half where I think we're up 14-8, and I thought in my heart of hearts, and if you ask any footballer, there's periods in a game you think we're going to win this game.
Absolutely,
I'm going to win a grand final. And I reckon within...
You thought that, though? You actually...
I honestly thought,
you had that moment?
This is going to be... this is...
we're going to get one.
How good's this?
And then I reckon within 60, 90 seconds. We were penalised in possession. Brucey Maguire played a ball forward. No. Steve Walters was retreating, wasn't square at marker.
Yeah.
Bill Harrigan blew a penalty to Canberra.
Oh, that was the
So that was the that was a catalyst. That was another moment in the game. There was lots of moments, as I said, but
that was the one for
that
you.
particular moment, it turned it, and it was funny because I think I said to pre-show that I got a sense of dread. I thought, oh no, when you see things that,
of course,
sometimes you go, oh,
we all
boy.
go through it, yeah.
Yep. So I a bit of a sense of dread anyway. They, I think off the back of that, Chicka Ferguson ended up scoring. He sort of cut back in and went past me, and I got replaced behind the try line when Chicka scored, and I remember it was 14-12, and then Mal wasn't a great goal kicker, and I thought, please miss it, Mal, toe poker, and he landed it, so 14 all, and extra time, and I'm sitting with block on the sideline, but that's footy sometimes.
Was it the right penalty in your opinion? You watched it a few times.
No, I don't think it was a penalty. I think he
should have got the penalty.
It up. He stuffed it right up.
It was a penalty to Balmain.
It was a penalty to Balmain.
100%.
Steve Walters made the tackle. He wasn't square.
He was not square. And Bruce, in those days, you play the ball forward.
Could do it, yeah.
He played the ball forward. Steve Boxhead wasn't at marker and was side on retreating. Bruce ran into him and pushed him, and Bill said, "Oh, you've shepherded him." Well, shepherd him? How is that a? He come up with some explanation anyway. If you ever get Bill on, he'll have an answer.
He'll deny money.
How many times have you run into Bill and got Bill to, or tried to get Bill to admit he was wrong?
That was my next question, Paul. Yeah.
No,
no.
Bill,
because he's not a man. He's not fond of admitting to mistakes.
No. I don't think so, mate. Till the day I take my last breath, I don't think Bill will admit he got it wrong, or But what he'll do is deflect and say that if Benny kicks a field goal,
he has other moments.
If kicks a field goal, Meggsy,
we
have an overlap and we put the ball down, and again little grand final moments that change the course of a game, and we had a few of them, and unfortunately, they apart from maybe my try when that moment went our way, all the other ones went Canberra's way. So
I was about to say they had a few moments, but they all worked for them.
Yeah, they did, mate.
So that's the thing that gets lost in the modern game too. So we have this obsession now in the game. The tries equate to a better game, and the NRL almost should have that 89 grand final there as an example. That it's not tries that make a game, because there's a couple of games on the weekend, 32-30, whatever the scores were, which is boring as batshit, really, because it's just you score, we score. It's like a game of tennis, you know what I mean? And you've got to wait for the last 5 minutes to see who emerges, kind of thing. Like the thing that is the greatness of rugby league, I believe, is those moments. Okay, you had guys have various moments to win the game or to save the game. And that's what gets the crowd out of their seat. You don't necessarily have to score. And to my way of thinking, it's the fatigue that brings those moments and brings those heroics. Because the great part of the 89 grand final, and I thought the 86 grand final was similar. Okay, Parramatta Canterbury. No try scored in that grand final. But at the end of the game, in that game, Canterbury are just hammering. They're behind 4-2. Mick Cronin's kicked 2 penalty goals. Terry Lamb's kicked 1. That's the score. And yet, for the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, Canterbury just had all the ball and just were hammering Parramatta's line. And Parramatta were just doing these desperate last-minute attacks, defensive efforts, you know what I mean? Yeah. Try savers. And there's one famous one where I think it was Andrew Farrar, I'm not quite sure, he went to go over in the corner, and there were 6 Parramatta players got in on the tackle. And that sort of stuff is what
desperation,
and the fatigue is what brings that about.
Well, that's what our game was based on, Johnny. And a lot of blokes in the day of there was no interchange. It was just you were the blokes who were super fit, like your Wayne Pearces and whatnot. The blokes who would just pick themselves off the ground and just go, go again and again. They were that tough, mate. They were fit and.
And the irony of it, Sirro, is Wayne Pearce wouldn't be able to play in the modern game now because his greatness was in that period of the game where everybody else was starting to run out of gas, and he just kept going.
Same
but
level,
now, because he was an undersized lock, to be fair, he wasn't a big body.
No.
Now, as soon as his advantage starts to come into play and he wants to press it home, the opposition just take off their tired players, send on a couple of fresh ones,
there you go,
and he's back to square one.
Yes, yeah,
so
agreed.
Like there's a benefit to be able to cut the interchange down and get rid of all that. I did think they should just go back to 4 replacements. Once you're on, you're on. They're still going to exploit that with head injuries, with the HIAs. You're still going to get more than 4 blokes. Yeah. But that's added another element to it, the whole HIA, because some teams now having 12, 13 interchanges. And we know that some teams are faking the interchanges just so they can get a fresh player on, which is going to be interesting to see how that gets handled during the final series as that comes up, because there's no doubt they'll be pushing that advantage home. Some clubs in particular, shan't be named, but we'll keep an eye on them until it all blows up.
Exactly. Yeah. But well, look, if the rules are there to be looked at and I wouldn't say exploited, but if you can use the rules to your advantage, why not? Coaches, that's what coaches have to search for. The games that close these days, the teams are so evenly matched that you have to look for that little. Wouldn't say a loophole, but you look for something where you can sort of push your push your limits. Yeah.
You had a fair aerobic capacity too, though, didn't you? Like you were that big power athlete. But
reasonably
you
fit,
could still go okay.
Yeah. I could run all right, mate. So, and we were, I mean, the Balmain forward pack was really built on that. We were fairly athletic and mobile, and blokes these days are all athletes, where the old days were footballs first.
Paul could have played in any era, Paul.
I
got
no.
Oh, look,
I got told you're unbeatable on the roll machine.
He's a master at it.
Hey?
I used to get him on the bench press.
Was it too bad? Yeah, well, you did, Johnny. You had short arms, see? You had short arms.
Aren't you going to ask me about why do I call him Kaboobie?
Why do you call him Kaboobie?
Who
is Kaboobie? What is Kaboobie?
Remember that Shazam? Yeah. The genie,
the genie,
the
camel,
the flying camel, the flying camel used to transport the people that needed help. Yeah, that's Paul. That's Paul.
Kaboobie.
How did you get that?
My friend Kaboobie.
Because he used to Paul used to go, woo, go on, Paul, come on, mate.
When he's get overexcited.
Come on, Paul, go on. That was Kaboobie.
Kaboobie.
Didn't Blocker call you Munster or something? Too?
1,000 names, mate.
Kaboobie's our one.
It's just between us. Our little pet names.
Between us.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of years.
Good days, mate. Good days.
Sirro, Paul. But what got my attention, Paul? I want to fast forward. When you come to retire from Balmain, you had offers to go play in England, of course. I know that. But you chose to play in the south of France because I'm fascinated because I spent 4 years over there. Can you tell us why you took that Villeneuve, wasn't it? Is that correct?
Yeah, Villeneuve. Yeah. Johnny, well, you could probably back me up here. Yeah. Just the lifestyle and look, those days too. The French competition kicked off in October, so it was played over the winter.
That's right.
And the English Super League had swapped from playing into the summer, so their season aligned with ours. So, mate, at the end of '98, when I finished at Balmain, I didn't really want to have to do a whole off season and then start the season the following year. So I thought, well, why not do something different and go and play? Yeah, just tack on the end of the. I finished probably we didn't make the finals. Finished in the August with Balmain in '98, and then had a little break, and then. Early October, mate, I was on a plane over to Villeneuve to play over there, and they're a strong club, mate. I finally got a premiership, mate. Finally won a grand final. Had a really successful season over there with Villeneuve, mate. We played in 3. There's a knockout that they have a bit of a Challenge Cup type thing there, which we won that. We won the premiership, and also there was a tri-series at the start of the year with 3 French clubs and 3 English clubs, and we won that too. So it was a really successful time, but it was just, mate, the lifestyle. It was, I guess, akin to playing sort of Ron Massey Cup, mate. You'd train 2 or 3 nights a week in the afternoons. Both the boys, Curtis was 4 and Bailey was 2, so they were, we had get to spend plenty of time with them as a family, and like
Leanne
day
loved
trips.
it?
Yeah, she loved it. Yeah, so
that's lovely.
we learned to appreciate red wine and all the good things about the south of France. Johnny, is you well know. It's
give us something that was funny in France. Because when I went over there, Paul, they used to tell me to say something in French, and I'd say to the officials, and I'd be saying the wrong thing.
I know.
There'll be one bloke like Pierre. I'd say, Pierre, manger la pipe. So the manger la pipe means something else than what I thought it was meaning. and Pierre used to agree. Then when I found out what it meant, I said, I apologise, Pierre. I'm so sorry. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, of course. But
okay.
See, my problem was I play with a bloke. Remember Johnny Platt played for the Broncos?
Yes.
He was a real annoying. He was a pest, one of those blokes.
Beautiful.
But he's got a brother, Steve Platt, who's even worse than him. Platt. And I tell this story when
you've answered one of the questions later. Go
to function. So Plathy, he'll deny it, but he said, "Listen, mate, you've got to the board and the officials at the club.
Of course.
You must be respectful, and you address them as." So French is slang.
Yes.
It's slang. So or that connotation. So I was saying, good morning, you and au revoir, au revoir. Everybody looking at me and anyway, basically pissing themselves laughing.
Oh, that's funny.
Finally, one of the young French blokes said, "Monsieur Paul, no, you know, call them that." So I love a G up. So I thought, yeah, good on you, mate. So he did get me, but just lots of other little things. We had a trainer at Villeneuve. His name was Kaka. Was his that's what they called him. Kaka.
You going?
Anyway, we were playing in the spring. We're playing, and I don't know where we're playing, but mate, I got stung by a bee on the field.
By a bee?
By a bee, yeah. It got in under the tongue of my boot.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been
so
painful.
He's come out, and mate, I didn't speak any French, and he didn't speak any English. So I'm saying,
he doesn't know what a bee.
What is this? What's this idiot going on about? So he went up the field. He said to the coach, "He's squashed a fly in his boot." And anyway, I got off the field, took my boot and sock off, and I had this big bloody bee sting on me bloody ankle. It was bloody, I look back at it now, I think it's bloody hilarious. But just one of those things.
The French,
the breakdown of language
yeah.
barrier. Yeah, but it was. It was a great life experience. And,
of course.
And it's funny now that my son Bailey's over there too. He's doing
that club, yeah.
He's doing the same thing with Catalan Dragons in the Super League. Not so successfully, unfortunately, but it's been a great 2 years for him just to see the world and do a few things there.
It's a good base.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people there too.
Oh,
mate.
the French are beautiful.
You want to see rugby league. You want to see rugby league do well in France, but it just, it'll take one step forward, two steps back. It does that sort of thing over there.
Politics
sometimes.
is big over there.
Yeah, it does. It is, mate.
It's dangerous, yeah. So any aspiring young kid that just couldn't make it to play first grade, you'd recommend them to go over there and just play. Just
there's still opportunities there.
Yeah, there's plenty of
opportunities now, mate.
Go there, give something back and go explore the world.
Yeah,
it's a good base.
I went over last year and stayed with some friends who the guys I stay with, their version, his father is one of the sponsors of the club, so we just
nice.
we've remained friends with a lot of the guys I played with.
Yeah,
I caught up with 3 or 4 of the players I played with last year, and
it's been
25 years, 26 years, mate. So you keep that's
the
beauty of rugby league, as we know. Friendships are rock solid, and and it's nice that the years can pass and you still catch up with each other.
That's important. It's great.
It is, mate.
You still stay involved in the game with the Blues?
I do, Kenny. Yeah, so I've got a role up in the Northern Rivers. I do a little bit with New South Wales Rugby League. So it's sort of it's got a few layers. So I do a bit. I'm very fortunate. I do a bit with the Origin. I still come in and do all the logistics stuff. Moving the equipment and the gear and all that sort of stuff, which is a thankless job sometimes. But it's good fun. It's great just to be involved.
It keeps you involved, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's a wonderful time of the year. So. Then I do. There's a program called Rise, which has been developed over the last few years for under 13s through to under 15s, and I do a bit of that program up around the Northern Rivers and help deliver that to coaches, and it's a different take on coaching rugby league. It's not about what you coach. It's how you coach. It's engaging kids and just keeping kids playing, which is so important. And it's a kind of developed with Neil Henry had a real big background in it, and he's got a lot of time for Neil as a coach
smart,
and as a bloke. Yeah, he's a guy we probably lost to coaching a bit too soon up at the Titans, but he they came through with this program, which again I think Mal Meninga helped develop it too. Mal, so but the only place you'll see rise is on the Kangaroos and the Gillaroos jersey. If you look at that on there. So it's a synonym for routine. It escapes him right now, but it's for the younger players. It's routine, social media. It's all the stuff they 13s to 15-year-olds struggle with.
Is that the how? Is it like? Yeah, so it's not what you coach. It's how you coach.
It's how you coach. It's how you coach.
Just explain that to us. How that?
Well,
works.
it's you don't want 13, 14-year-olds running block plays and doing this. It's mate, let them make mistakes. Let them make mistakes. Let them be.
Yeah.
Let them
play footy.
Don't.
Yeah.
Like we go to football training, we get the kids all lined up and go through. And you drop the ball, come back, we'll start again. Well, no, games don't happen like that. It's let there be a bit of chaos, a bit of backyard footy stuff where kids are best like that, and you see
the skill levels, natural skill.
And mate, I see it. I see it all the time in the Northern Rivers. The young Indigenous kids are all
brilliant.
Like there's a game of first grade going on. I was at a game a couple of weeks back, Ballina and Murwillumbah, and there was probably 9 kids in the behind the goalpost playing touch and doing their own rules, and kids let it evolve. They'll bring in rules, and if it's not working, they'll change players and teams, and let them play. Let them play. And there was a great saying about coaches coach the football out of players these days, where they've, you see a lot of the blokes who are just natural players. I look at that. Trey Fuller plays the Dolphins.
The fullback.
Oh wow, what a player! He's one of those kids, speed and off
just
the mark,
let him play.
And he probably plays outside structures sometimes, but you back yourself, and it's good to see. There's a few of those players in the game now.
We want them. Reece Walsh, we want him.
Yeah, Reece Walsh, of course, Johnny.
We need him when we want him.
So but the crowd love him because they're just excitement machines. So the underlying thing of the program, the right stuff for the kids, but it's also for coaches to get coaches out of that mindset of, you got to win all the time. It's more engaging the kids and just make sure they come back. I mean, you coach under 13s, 14s.
Make sure they come back.
If you have a good season, you have fun, and you come back next year. But if your coach has been slagging you in front of everyone and sitting on your backside on the sideline, you lose players. So it's
exactly. And they'll go somewhere else, Paul.
Exactly right, John.
Not a competition.
They'll try something else.
Basketball, there's everything.
Yeah, all sports, but it's really important that our young coaches, the coaches of our kids, there, and engage them and get them to buy in a bit and and enjoy it.
Fun.
Has that been difficult to get the coaches to buy into that? Because, as we know, that's the biggest problem with junior football.
They don't want to lose it.
Well, they all want to be Jack Gibson. And they all want to win comps and get a bigger job and the dream of the NRL.
Yes.
So I can imagine it. The worst thing about all that junior footy is junior coaches. Really.
It is. Well, mate. My junior sport would be great if you could take the parents out of it too. All the time too, mate. It's the parents who screaming out saying, "Go, kill him!" But if I look back now I'm a bit older. I can reflect on it and you see it, And you're playing for sheep stations, kids 9, 10, 11. That's ridiculous. Let's let them play and mate. If you win, you win. If you don't, But that's why they've stopped the. A lot of the finals and it's non-competitive, so the kids just play. They just play each week. There's no semi-finals, no grand finals now because coaches will, they'll bend the rules to get their best 13 on the field all the time. It's about, that one kid who you leave off all the time who's the little skinny winger could, mate, in 5 years' time, if you persevere with him and encourage him, he gets bigger, stronger, faster, and bang. The world's full of, this Rice program, without boring you too much, it came because of the likes of guys like Jonathan Thurston and Cooper Cronk weren't walk-up starts for junior rep sides. They weren't childhood superstars. They were They were small kids and they had some ability, but they persevered. They persevered, and coaches persevered with them, and they got better and better. And you know, at 15, 16, they could have been lost to the game, but it's a really good story, and it's important that like coaches will say, oh, he's good, he's not. It's now that these days it's he's a maybe. So persevere with those fringe players. And put time into them. Like we tend to focus on our best players in our teams, and it's more about sharing the love across everyone and put more time in it. Yeah. And it's a good philosophy for
great philosophy
for junior or for all junior sport, really, mate.
Any sport,
Well, you're right. There's too many
dictators out there.
Yeah, just ambitious bloody junior coaches.
Not worried about the kids, more worried about themselves.
How
and they coach the 2 or 3 superstars in the team, and everybody else has to fall in around them.
That's exactly what they do, Kenny and Johnny. So but.
Well, that's good you're doing that. The origin journey you've been through the last few years, I'm fascinated to see your thoughts on that, given you were there when they were going through the bad period there where, I say this from a New South Wales point of view, the bad period. Queenslanders might argue it's a good period. But just the recent years, Brad Fittler into Madge Maguire, into Laurie Daly now, how have things changed around all that?
It really is. There hasn't been a great seismic change anyway. Really, I mean, the style of all 3 coaches are really good coaches, and they've all got their strengths and weaknesses, I guess. But they what they do is obviously get buy-in from their players. You know, the guys we've got are the best players in the game, so they help dictate what style of football we play and the Blues play, and and Freddie, there was I had 5 years with Freddie as coach, and he had some really good times, and then there was the expectation in a lot of games, and we come up short, and that's disappointing, and everyone puts their hand up, is involved with it, but then the match came in last year. What a great series last year. We lost at game 1 when we got a send off early on.
Yeah, that's right.
And then but bounced back with a great win. One of the best 40 minutes I'd seen in Melbourne, where we piled on the pain in Queensland, and then that great win at Suncorp in game 3 last year. This year, we're up against it. Game 1, bang, we win. It's but
do you sense a difference in mood from camp to camp? Did you?
Yeah, well, not really, mate. No. The good preparation. What we do forget, I think, sometimes, we lost Mitch Barnett after game 1. He did his knee.
Yeah.
And then we lost Mitch Moses. He tore his calf during training. Yeah. So look, you get injuries, but the 2 Mitches were two big losses for us too, particularly Mitch Moses' kicking game, and Barney was just tough, mate, just old school. Player. Yeah, just one of those blokes who just shored up the ruck and just got all the forwards into, and we've got a couple of those blokes with Yowie and Liam Martin, game two we started poorly in Perth, and mate, we were right behind the 8 ball at half time, but to their credit, geez, we come roaring home, and if we kick another couple of goals, bang, we win. We win the series. And
I remember before the 3rd game, Paul, you were having breakfast with me and Block. I think you were there, Paul. And you were in camp. You said, mate, I'm very confident. We trained well this week, boys. Very, very confident.
We prepared really well, Johnny, but didn't see that. We had Cam Munster's old man passed away. And it was funny when I heard that, I thought, that's either going to go 2 ways for Queensland. That will absolutely galvanise them and just... and it did, mate. It did, and we look back now, and they were very, very good. Geez, they played well. They played so well. They did everything that we did the year before. We scrambled and defended our line, and just blokes like Tommy Dearden and that played out their skins, and we were off the pace, mate. And it's funny because I remember after the game, there's a couple of blokes they're apologising. They you don't normally get first grade Origin players apologising, but they were. They realised that let a lot of people down, and there was that sense of expectation. We got a decider at home, 80,000. It was built up, and
big favourites.
Everything was there, Johnny. Everything was there for us to, for a Blues win, and that's when like, history says that Queensland's at their most dangerous. On the backs of the wall and all that sort of,
adversity. You're right.
And as I said, with the Cam Munster stuff, it helped pull them together. That just played into Billy Slater's hands a little bit, I guess. And I just felt so sorry for Laurie, mate. He just, I've never seen a bloke so devastated after a game. So, but he'll have a chance to.
Will he do anything different next year?
Oh, I think he will, mate. There might be a couple of things that he'll handle a little bit differently, and maybe with selections and other bits and pieces too. But anyway, that's for the it's out of my pay grade, mate. I'll let the blokes up top decide that stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah.
The friendship between you guys is something I really respect. I've spoken to Johnny about this before. Like, I remember, I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe it was, and I was with I was talking to Benny, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing today? We're going to lunch." And I was like, I had sort of spare day, and I thought it was a bigger lunch than what it actually was. But and basically we turned up, sat down. There was you, Blocker, Benny, Junior, and I'm sitting there like like a third thumb, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there thinking, geez, what am I doing here? And it was just one of those lovely days where everybody knows you guys as footballers and teammates and all the rest of it. But I just sort of sat there and said very little and listened into you guys chatting, and it was just blokes. And it wasn't a, let's catch up and relive the glory days type of chat. It was blokes who were legitimate mates, still are legitimate mates, are still very present in each other's lives. So your whole conversation was not about, remember when we did this and remember it wasn't one of those days. It was just like any group of mates get together this weekend or whatever. They just get together and catch up from the last time they were together, which was not so long ago. And I know everyone with that Balmain era, it always sort of comes back to the grand finals. But you've made some lifelong friends out of it, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, Kenny, and just, mate, there's obviously there's opportunities for us guys to catch up, but we've and that circle's even bigger, mate. It was a chance. We had a really good lunch at New South Wales Rugby League last year, and it was a Balmain Origin themed sort of lunch, and obviously Balmain don't have a leagues club now, and we're stony broke and just hanging on, by the skin of our teeth, but just all those guys who played in that 80s period too, and regardless if they played sort of what level they play, we're all still mates. But as you say, mate, the ever present stuff comes back to all of our kids are mates too, which is lovely. It's like Mitch Pearce and the Roach boys and my sons and and just they're all, and I'm mates with them too, which is lovely. So it's, and then we try and get together once a year with Benny and Block and Junior and the girls and just have because the girls are all close. They've all got all got grandkids now, mate. So it's really nice at that level too, and just. And I know last year, Bruce Maguire, who was one of our great teammates, Bruce was up at Burleigh and Curtis was home from overseas, and Bruce saw him, and I remember I spoke to Curtis later in the day. He said, I sat down with Bruce for 20 minutes and we just talked, because Bruce had 3 boys as well, and just one of the most lovely blokes too, Brucey, and just tough as tough as an old steak he was. A great fella, but just. Yeah, there's you bump into mates, and hence the reason we'll go and see little Megs too and make sure he's all right.
That's the beauty of the sport.
We don't probably get round our old teammates enough. We need to go and.
He needs a bit of help too.
Are you okay? Yeah, that's that sort of stuff, Kenny. And
we'll get him out.
Yeah. So we all we all make mistakes and we all do stuff from time to time that we need to just check in with our mates and say, how you going, buddy? And you ride the highs and the lows together.
Because the thing you get out of it, one of the modern fascinations in the game, which I sort of, I try not to let it give me the shits, but it does a little bit, is players leave a team because they want to go win a comp. Oh. You know when you see that? Yeah. Guys, and gets, oh no, he didn't think he could win a comp here, so he's gone and signed with those guys, right? And again, you guys are probably the most celebrated group of players that didn't win a grand final, or certainly the easiest to recall of as a group, and partly it was because you stayed together for a decade, played together for a decade. At one point you had an international pack, so you basically did it all except win that, but the reward out of that, or the silver lining out of all that is these lifelong friendships you've got, and it's a true mateship. And in some ways, look, you'd obviously want both if you want both, but I'm guessing you wouldn't swap those friendships for a grand final medal. You know what I mean?
No. But you I guess you do find the teams that have won premierships are all super tight too, mate.
Yeah,
so they've won.
True. Most of them are.
And I know, well, most of them are. That's right. There are sort of divisions in some teams and clubs and whatnot, but but look, we and there was a common there was an underlying reason why we all stayed, Kenny, and that was the great Keith Barnes. Barnesy was and only just passed away a couple of years ago, and just he was the master, but the master, I wouldn't say manipulator, but I went in to tell him I was leaving to go to Cronulla at one stage, 95, 96, and I went in just to tell him I'm going, and I walked out with a new 2-year deal at the time. So that's the effect Barnesy had on me. He was like, but he was wonderful.
Champion. Keith Barnes.
Keith had a little line for the beautiful Welsh accent. Bloke loves doing it, Kitty Barnes. But Keith said to me, I remember when Curtis was born, he said, "Listen, Sirro, one bit of advice." He said, "Little kids, little problems. Big kids, big problems." So very, very true, true words. And he'd always, he said the internationals are all on the same money, except Benny.
Except Benny.
He's done a little bit more.
He got a little bit more. GST.
I can remember going into his office one day, Paul, at the end of '89, and he had an option if you wanted to sign me for 2 years. I said, "What am I going to do here with this Keith?" So I had no manager. I've gone in there and he's sitting down, he's looking at me. Yeah. How much do you want, John? We're talking figures, and he had this safari suit on. Yeah, that safari suit.
He loves safari suits.
I said, Keith, I think I know what size he is. What do you mean, John? What do you mean? So I said, just wait there, please. Just wait there. So I've gone down to the car and got him 2 suits. I said, Keith.
Amazing how they appeared all the time.
Yeah, they appeared. I said, Keith, you've been so good to me. From the goodness of my heart, can you take these 2 suits? Anyway, we come to agreement. It was the best contract I've ever signed. Yeah. And I was really happy. Training the following Tuesday, he says, John, I need 5 more of those suits, if you don't mind.
I bet you found them too.
We had a great connection. He was one of the really nice blokes.
Johnny,
he'd have
I forgot to add the winning bonuses to your contract, mate. So,
that's right.
We'll put those in there.
Oh, he was the best. He was the best.
Blocker tells the story when he went in with the man. Yeah, that one where
Tony Malton. He shuts a briefcase.
Yeah.
I'll sign. Block.
Because he said to me, he goes, mate, we're going to go in, Blocker, we're going to listen to the offer. No matter what he offers, we're not going to sign it. He said, "Sir, I'm going to shut the briefcase, we're going to get up, we're going to walk out, we'll get more next time." Mm-hmm. And he pushed the deal across the Blocker. Blocker just leaped for the pen.
Jumped on the table. Right, Keith,
where do I sign?
Everyone gets the same except Benny. Benny got the bloody house behind the Leagues Club. Then he bought the Leagues Club anyway.
He does, mate.
That's another story.
But the funny thing is now, with all the player managers and the players say, "Oh, I want to leave the club for win a grand final." Means my manager wants more money.
More money, absolutely. Nothing to do with grand final.
I signed my first contract at Balmain when I was probably 18, 19 or something.
You come back from
and then I never signed another contract. As a handshake, it was a handshake with Keith.
And he honoured everyone.
Honoured everyone, mate. And he had everything right. Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't have it these days.
No, you wouldn't.
No. Just because of how the world is anyway.
He sadly missed
HR and that. But Keith would say, 3 years on this. Yep. Yeah. We're happy. Shake hands, and that was it. That was the deal.
Bad, eh?
It was, mate. And but it's a it's a long, long time ago, mate.
Yeah.
Things are so different these days. So,
Paul, this is the best part of the show. You ready?
What
You've
do you
already,
got for me,
already
Johnny?
answered one earlier. I'm going to ask you three.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You've played over 250 first grade games. You played in France too, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the biggest pest you played with? But you answered that earlier.
He was
Steve.
probably the biggest pest
Yeah.
in our club and Balmain.
Yeah.
In Balmain, I would think we had a couple. Wes Freeman was a pest.
Oh, he was a pest.
He was a
Gary
pest.
was a pest.
He was a.
Is there a story there?
Sorry.
Is there a story you can tell us about him being a pest one day?
Was just halfback. Halfbacks generally are pests.
Oh yeah, he's just
they're always
yeah. Swear, yeah. I agree.
Carrying on.
He was a pest.
There's probably not something that drops straight away now, mate. But if you give me time, I'll think of a few.
Yeah, we haven't got time today. Thank you.
That's right, unfortunately.
Paul, if you don't mind, who was the?
We'll come back in an hour.
We'll come back in an hour. Who was the funniest?
Am I looking at you? No. We were blessed with
so many.
with some of the funniest pricks in the game.
Oh.
You know, when first day I walked in, there was Kerry Hemsley, Mike Marcuto, Nobby Clark, Block, and I just walked in and went, "Oh, please, I hope they don't notice me." And straight away, right, punk, they're into me straight away. I probably stood out a little bit.
Were you there that time when we went to see Billy Joel? Do you remember that time?
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, how we got in?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, Wine Rollers coach. We went to the entertainment centre, and no one had tickets. I said, "Boys, don't you worry. Just stay with me." Oh, you don't remember? You probably didn't gather. And I said, "Boys, just hang on. Just leave it with me." Joe Hood, we grabbed his phone. No one had phones that day. It was just as big as a brick, this phone. I put the phone to my ear, and I'm walking through, and the concierge is there. Hold on. Security's here. Just open the door, please. So she opened the door. We've all gone in to watch Billy Joel. Yeah, remember that?
Well, I don't think I was there.
You probably weren't there.
I could have been working
you could have been working on the door.
Policeman in those days. There you go.
I think you were, Paul.
I think I got a call. There's been a fraud. There's been an invasion in the Billy Joel concert.
I just do one, Paul. I think it's going to be easy for you. Who was the pretty boy? Who loved looking in the mirror?
Mate,
We've had a few Balmain boys here. They've all given us.
Well, there was one bloke who.
Come on.
I was on the field, allegedly brushed his hair before he ran on his first time in first grade.
Yes.
Tim Brasher! Come on down.
Paul, tell him the story,
He
please.
confessed to it.
He did confess to it.
On here, right there.
Yeah,
Did he?
tell him the story, Paul, please.
No, well, that was it. He put the comb in his sock, waiting for the tap on the shoulder to run on. So before he did, he brushed his hair.
Those are the days,
Yeah,
mate.
he's as bald as a cue ball now, which is probably God getting him back.
I know he is,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, but no, he used to rate himself pretty
didn't he?
highly.
Oh,
He fell in love with himself early on and remained faithful to himself the whole time, didn't he? Sorry, Brush.
Paul, it's been a great show, mate.
Yeah,
And let me
it's
tell
been
you,
terrific.
Sirro, this could be pulling out our last show, and you're our lucky guest, the very last. Yeah.
You got something planned for the summer, John?
We've got something planned for the summer.
Cricket?
And,
You're doing
the
cricket?
Fanatics? No. It's going to be a really good summer segment, and I'm going to be the host.
Well, boys, you
And I think
Johnny's
it's gonna be
branching out.
I'm
Good on you,
branching
mate.
out.
Enjoy your
With the
off-season.
Fanatics,
He's
of course.
taking on legitimate work.
Yes, with the Fanatics.
What? I've changed now, my friend.
I've changed. I'm a changed man.
Good on you, buddy. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Paul.
thank
you,
you.
Sirro.
Very enjoyable.
Really enjoyed that.
Thanks, mate.
On your Kaboobie.
Thanks, Kenty. Good on you.